My beloved child, there are moments in life when something within you feels unsettled, even if everything around you appears ordinary. Nothing dramatic may be happening on the outside, yet inside your spirit there is a quiet awareness, a sense that you are standing at the edge of something important. This is one of those moments. Not because disaster is approaching. Not because you should be afraid. But because your spirit is being invited to wake up more fully than before. Many people move through their days on autopilot. They wake up, follow routines, carry worries, chase responsibilities, and fall asleep without ever pausing long enough to ask themselves one simple question: am I listening to the quiet guidance within me? Heaven does not always speak through thunder. More often, it whispers through awareness. And right now, you are being asked to pay attention. There are seasons when life pushes you forward through obvious change. New doors open, old doors close, relationships shift, opportunities appear. Those seasons are easy to recognize. But there are other seasons that are far more subtle. These are the seasons of preparation. Preparation does not feel dramatic. It feels quiet. Sometimes even uncomfortable. You may feel restless. You may sense that something needs adjustment, even if you cannot clearly define what it is. This is not confusion. It is awakening. Archangel Michael's message for you in this moment is not about fear. It is about clarity. When people hear the words alert or warning, they often imagine danger. But the greatest warnings in life are not about events outside of you. They are about the condition of your inner world. What thoughts have you been allowing to grow unchecked? What small compromises have you been telling yourself are harmless? What distractions have slowly been taking the place of your peace? Small things, when repeated daily, shape destiny. A single negative thought may not seem powerful. But a pattern of doubt can quietly weaken faith. A single impatient reaction may not seem serious. But repeated frustration can harden the heart. The invitation before you now is simple: slow down. Look inward. Strengthen what truly matters. You are not being warned of unavoidable disaster. You are being reminded of your authority. The authority you have over your thoughts, your reactions, and your direction. There is a difference between reacting to life and responding to it. Reaction is driven by emotion. Response is guided by wisdom. And wisdom grows in stillness. Right now, many voices compete for your attention. News, opinions, social pressures, expectations, fears about the future, all of them speak loudly. They demand urgency. They create noise. But heaven does not compete with noise. It waits for your stillness. Have you noticed how clarity often comes after you step away from chaos? After a walk alone. After prayer. After a moment of silence, when you finally allow your breathing to slow? That clarity is not accidental. It is alignment. Alignment happens when your heart, your thoughts, and your faith begin moving in the same direction. And this is where your power truly begins. You may feel as if you are standing at a crossroads. Nothing dramatic may be visible, yet your choices right now carry more weight than you realize. Every day presents subtle decisions. Will you feed anxiety or faith? Will you respond with anger or patience? Will you act out of fear or trust? These decisions seem small in the moment, but they build momentum. Momentum creates direction. Direction shapes destiny. There are individuals who wait for a massive sign before they change course. They expect transformation to arrive like lightning, sudden and unmistakable. Yet the greatest transformations begin quietly. They begin when someone decides, I will no longer allow fear to dominate my thoughts. I will guard my peace more carefully. I will trust God even when I cannot see the full path. That decision may not look impressive to others, but in the spiritual realm, it shifts everything. My beloved child, you are stronger than you realize. Much of what once unsettled you no longer has the same power. Challenges that once felt overwhelming have already strengthened your character. Prayers that seemed unanswered were shaping patience within you. Growth is not always visible while it is happening. Consider a tree. For a long time, nothing appears above the ground. But beneath the surface, roots are spreading, anchoring deeply into the earth. If the roots grow strong first, the tree can later withstand storms. You have been growing roots. Some delays you experienced were not rejection. Some closed doors were not punishment. Some waiting seasons were not abandonment. They were strengthening seasons. There is a quiet shift happening now. Not a shift of panic. A shift of awareness. You are being reminded that you do not need to chase every opportunity that appears. You do not need to answer every criticism. You do not need to react to every opinion spoken around you. Discernment is becoming sharper within you. Discernment allows you to recognize what deserves your energy, and what does not. Energy is sacred. Where you invest it determines what grows. If you invest it in fear, fear expands. If you invest it in gratitude, gratitude multiplies. If you invest it in trust, peace strengthens. This is why guarding your inner world matters more than controlling your outer circumstances. You cannot control every event. But you can control your response. And your response carries creative power. There may soon be situations that test your calm. Perhaps misunderstandings. Perhaps unexpected changes. Perhaps opportunities that require courage. Do not interpret these moments as threats. Interpret them as invitations. Invitations to demonstrate the growth that has already taken place within you. You are not the same person you were a year ago. Think back. Situations that once triggered anxiety, do they affect you the same way now? Conversations that once intimidated you, do they still carry the same weight? You have evolved. Not perfectly, but meaningfully. And evolution continues. Faith is not the absence of uncertainty. Faith is steady movement despite uncertainty. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing trust while fear whispers. Peace is not the absence of challenges. Peace is confidence in divine guidance even during challenges. Right now, you are being positioned to deepen all three. Faith. Courage. Peace. Strength does not always look like bold action. Sometimes it looks like restraint. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like walking away from unnecessary conflict. Wisdom often protects you from battles you never needed to fight. There is also something else unfolding. A door. Not a dramatic, glowing doorway. Not something obvious that everyone can see. It may appear ordinary. It may even seem small. But it aligns with your growth. Opportunities that are truly meant for you will not require you to abandon your integrity. They will not demand that you shrink your values. They will not force you to become someone you are not. The right doors respect your peace. If something demands constant anxiety to maintain it, it is not aligned with your highest path. Pay attention to how your spirit feels. Restlessness can signal misalignment. Calm determination often signals direction. You are entering a phase where inner peace will become your compass. Not public approval. Not comparison. Not pressure. Peace. When a decision increases your clarity and strengthens your integrity, it is likely aligned. When a decision creates chaos within you, step back. Reflection is not weakness. It is maturity. And maturity invites stability. There is no need to rush the process ahead of you. Timing matters. Seeds planted too early in harsh conditions struggle. Seeds planted in the right season flourish. Trust divine timing more than human urgency. You may feel tempted to force results, to accelerate outcomes, to demand immediate clarity. But sometimes clarity arrives only after consistent faithfulness. Keep showing up. Keep choosing integrity. Keep aligning your thoughts with truth instead of assumption. The breakthrough you seek is not always an external event. Often it is an internal realization. A realization that you are not behind. A realization that you are not forgotten. A realization that your journey is unfolding with intention. You are not racing against anyone. Comparison steals joy because it ignores individual timing. Your path has its own rhythm. Respect it. There is a gentle strengthening happening within you. A steadiness that did not exist before. You may not even recognize it fully yet, but others will begin to notice. They will sense your calm in situations that once would have shaken you. They will observe your patience where there once was frustration. They will recognize a quiet confidence that does not need to prove itself loudly. This is growth. And growth is evidence of guidance. Continue walking forward, not with panic, but with awareness. Not with fear, but with discernment. Not with desperation, but with trust. You are not standing on the edge of disaster. You are standing on the edge of deeper maturity. And maturity unlocks doors that immaturity could never sustain. The journey is not ending. It is refining. Stay attentive. Stay grounded. Stay faithful. The next layer of this message will reveal how to recognize the subtle signs guiding your next step, and how to respond in a way that strengthens your future instead of draining it. My beloved child, now that your heart has grown quieter, you are ready to understand something deeper. Most turning points in life are not loud. They do not arrive with announcements. They do not introduce themselves with certainty. They rarely feel dramatic in the beginning. Instead, they begin as subtle discomfort. A question that will not leave your mind. A pattern you suddenly recognize. A habit that no longer feels aligned. A longing you cannot fully explain. These are not random thoughts. They are indicators. When your spirit begins to outgrow a season, it first sends signals internally. Before circumstances change around you, awareness changes within you. You may have noticed recently, things that once excited you now feel empty. Conversations that once entertained you now feel draining. Distractions that once satisfied you now feel like delay. This is not dissatisfaction with life. It is elevation. Growth always creates temporary discomfort because you are stretching beyond a previous version of yourself. Imagine wearing clothes you wore years ago. At one time they fit perfectly. But over time, you changed. What once felt comfortable now feels restrictive. You are experiencing that spiritually. Old mindsets no longer fit. Old fears no longer make sense. Old limitations feel smaller than the person you are becoming. And yet, here is where many people become confused. They assume that because they feel restless, something is wrong. But sometimes restlessness is not a sign of danger. It is a sign of expansion. There is a difference between anxiety and spiritual prompting. Anxiety drains your strength. Spiritual prompting sharpens your awareness. Anxiety makes you feel scattered. Spiritual prompting makes you feel focused. Pay attention to the difference. Right now, you are not being pushed toward panic. You are being pulled toward clarity. Clarity requires honesty. Where have you been settling? Where have you been postponing necessary decisions? Where have you been tolerating environments that weaken your peace? Peace is not laziness. It is alignment. When you are aligned with truth, your energy stabilizes. When you are misaligned, even small tasks feel heavy. There are relationships in life that strengthen you. And there are relationships that slowly deplete you. There are habits that build discipline. And there are habits that quietly steal momentum. The alert you sensed earlier was never about external catastrophe. It was about internal adjustment. Adjustment is powerful. A small shift in direction today prevents major correction later. Consider a ship crossing the ocean. If its course is off by even 1 degree, it may not seem significant at first. But after thousands of miles, that 1 degree creates massive distance from the intended destination. Life works the same way. Tiny compromises repeated daily create long-term drift. Tiny corrections repeated daily create long-term success. You are being invited to make tiny corrections now. Not drastic overhauls. Not fear-driven reactions. Not impulsive decisions. Thoughtful corrections. Maybe it is adjusting how you begin your mornings. Maybe it is limiting voices that amplify doubt. Maybe it is committing to prayer before reacting emotionally. Maybe it is choosing forgiveness instead of replaying old pain. These changes may seem small. But small disciplines build strong foundations. And strong foundations withstand storms. You may also sense that certain doors are slowly closing. When doors close, the human instinct is to panic. What did I do wrong? Why is this happening? What if nothing better comes? But sometimes a door closes because your growth can no longer fit through it. Sometimes a door closes because you have already learned what that season was meant to teach you. Every closed door carries a lesson. Every open door carries responsibility. If something leaves your life peacefully, let it go peacefully. Not every ending requires explanation. Not every transition requires resistance. Trust that what aligns with your purpose will remain, and what does not will fade without needing force. There is also something else unfolding, discernment about timing. Not everything that is good for right now. Impatience can cause premature movement. Premature movement creates unnecessary struggle. Fruit picked too early lacks sweetness. Opportunities forced too early lack stability. Trust the rhythm of divine timing more than the pressure of comparison. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to lose clarity. When you measure your progress against someone else's timeline, you create artificial urgency. Artificial urgency produces rushed decisions. Rushed decisions produce regret. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are in preparation. Preparation seasons are quiet because they are building strength that will soon be required. Have you noticed how muscles grow? Through resistance. Without resistance, there is no increase in strength. Challenges are not evidence of abandonment. They are opportunities to develop endurance. But here is the key: endurance without wisdom leads to burnout. Endurance with faith leads to breakthrough. So how do you know which path you are on? Ask yourself. Am I forcing something that constantly drains me? Or am I faithfully building something that gradually strengthens me? The difference matters. Faithful building may be slow, but it feels meaningful. Forced striving may be fast, but it feels exhausting. Your spirit recognizes the difference, even if your mind struggles to accept it. Listen to your spirit. There may soon be a conversation that tests your growth. It may involve misunderstanding. It may involve being underestimated. It may involve being challenged unfairly. Do not react immediately. Pause. Your pause is power. When you respond from stillness instead of impulse, you shift outcomes. The old version of you might have reacted defensively. The evolving version of you will respond wisely. That wisdom will surprise even you. Because growth becomes most visible during testing. Anyone can speak calmly when life is easy. Maturity reveals itself when circumstances are complicated. And you are more prepared than you realize. There is also an internal strengthening happening in your confidence. Not loud confidence. Not arrogant confidence. But quiet certainty. Certainty that you are guided. Certainty that you are learning. Certainty that your steps are ordered even when the full map is unseen. You do not need to see the entire staircase to take the next step. You only need light for the next step. And you have that light. It may not show you next year. It may not show you every outcome. But it shows you enough for today. That is how faith operates. Step by step. Choice by choice. Thought by thought. Guard your thoughts carefully in this season. Thoughts become beliefs. Beliefs become actions. Actions become habits. Habits shape identity. If you repeatedly tell yourself you are incapable, you will hesitate even when opportunity appears. If you repeatedly remind yourself that you are guided and strengthened, you will move differently. Your internal dialogue matters more than external applause. Applause fades quickly. Inner conviction sustains you long term. You may also notice that certain temptations to return to old patterns are resurfacing. Growth is often tested by familiarity. The familiar feels safe, even if it once limited you. But do not mistake familiarity for alignment. You have outgrown certain reactions. You have outgrown certain insecurities. You have outgrown certain fears. Do not shrink yourself to fit environments that no longer reflect who you are becoming. Expansion requires courage. And courage is simply trust in motion. There is a blessing attached to this season, but it is not packaged as instant reward. It is packaged as refinement. Refinement removes excess. Refinement clarifies priority. Refinement strengthens integrity. Gold is refined through heat. Character is refined through challenge. You are not being diminished. You are being purified of what no longer serves your highest path. And once that refinement completes its work, clarity will increase rapidly. Opportunities will feel cleaner. Decisions will feel lighter. Direction will feel steadier. But do not rush refinement. Allow it. Lean into it. Pray through it. Grow through it. Because what is forming within you now will support what is coming next. The next part of this message will reveal how to recognize the opportunity hidden within ordinary moments, and how to step into it without fear.